John Raspanti with MaxBoxing.com and Seconds Out, talking to the legendary Bill Caplan at the LA Sports Arena in Los Angeles tonight, where later Mauricio Herrera is taking on Hank Lundy. Bill, tell me about the first time you came here. It's been a while, but tell me about that, and tell me about a certain heavyweight that you saw fight here.
Well, I can tell you a lot of things, but the first time I came here is the first time everyone came here. It was opening night in 1959. And it was for the Bantamweight Championship of the World. Sports Arena wasn't even completed. There was scaffolding inside. The painting still had to be done. Some plastering still had to be done. But they had the date, and so the show went on. The Bantamweight Championship was king in Los Angeles at that time. I mean, it was that 118 pounds was the most important title there was, because there were so many good Mexican bantamweights. And so the Olympic Auditorium knew that this fight was going to be too big for the Olympic, which had a seating capacity of a little over 10,000. So they brought it to this arena, which was 16,000 plus, and sure enough, it sold out. And the champion was a French-Moroccan Jew, of all things. His name was Alphonse Halimi. He was a very interesting guy. I worked on the fight. He had been an acrobat in the circus, a very colorful guy. He was the champion, and he was fighting the #1 contender, Jose Becerra from Mexico. Jose Becerra scored a knockout over the champion, took the title, and the noise I heard from the crowd to this day is the loudest noise I've ever heard in my life. It was piercing, it was painful. That was opening night.
Okay. And what about a guy by the name of Cassius Clay? Did you see him fight here when in '62, I think it was, right?
3 times.
3 times. Were you here to see that?
I was here for all 3 fights in 1962. And his first fight against a guy named George Logan from Utah, or I beg your pardon, from Boise, Idaho. That's when I met Ali. I met him in the Main Street gym when he was training for the fight. So, and I'm not going to say that Ali and I are fast friends. I like him a lot. I admire him a lot. I've had great experiences with him, but that's when I met him. His most memorable fight in the Sports Arena is when he fought a guy that's considered to be the greatest light heavyweight champion of all time, Archie the Mongoose Moore. Yeah. And Clay said, more and four, and don't you know, he knocked Archie out in the 4th round.
He did. Did you see the talent in him then? That eventually he called himself the greatest then, I believe, even then. Did you think he was going to, did you think he would be able to beat Sonny Liston like 2 years later?
I don't know. I'm not going to say I believe that, because Liston was a beast.
Yep.
He had knocked out the champion Floyd Patterson twice in the 1st round.
Yep. Yep. And
he was an absolute beast. But I'll tell you when I recognized that Clay was something special is when I went to the Main Street gym on the day that I met him. Inside a 16-foot ring, he was going backwards faster than most athletes can run forward. And I thought to myself, I've never seen legs like that on a heavyweight. So I saw something special at the gym before his first fight here.
Now tonight we're celebrating a great fight that was held here. Danny Little Red Lopez and Bobby Chacon, a local rivalry, 2 superb fighters. You were here that night, right? Is that?
I was. I worked on the fight.
You worked on the fight. I'm sure you remember it very well. Tell me about that.
Oh, I remember it very well. Again, the Olympic Auditorium, they were the promoters, Eileen Eaton and your friend Don Warwick Chacon.
Yep.
And it was too big. They were just kids, like Don says. They were babies. And before either of them won a title or were in a title fight. And the public demanded the fight because they were both hot young kids from the Los Angeles area. So they brought it to the Sports Arena. The Sports Arena sold out. And Schoolboy Bobby Chacon gave Danny a boxing lesson that night. Stopped him on a TKO in the 9th round. But, you can't keep a good man down. Danny later won the featherweight championship and defended it successfully 11 times, and all 11 of his defenses were awards.
Yes, and we walked past him just a few minutes ago when we were walking over here. So that's
signing autographs. And Bobby Chacon will also be here tonight. And Bobby won titles in 2 weight divisions after that, and they both had fantastic careers. But they fought here when they were babies.
Yeah, they sure did. Thinking back to those days, Bill, and to now, what do you think, this is a hard question, but what stands out to you as the biggest difference between, say, then versus nowadays in professional boxing?
Well, the biggest difference is there were more great fighters. We have great fighters today. We don't have the numbers of great fighters that they had then. And probably the reason for it was there were 2 arenas in Los Angeles alone that went every week. Thursday night, the Olympic Auditorium, Saturday night, the Hollywood Legion Stadium, and there were arenas like that all over the country that went every week, so there was an opportunity to develop more great fighters. I would say that's a big difference, and there's a big difference in the money that they make. I mean, it used to be that fighters, and I'm going to talk about heavyweight fighters. Why do Americans not excel in the heavyweight division anymore? And I'll tell you why. It used to be that heavyweight boxers, if they had talent, could make more money than pro football players and pro basketball players, who made about $10,000 a year and had to have off-season jobs. Now, because the money is so good in the NFL and the NBA, those guys that would be heavyweight boxers are playing basketball and football. Consequently, all the great heavyweights today come out of the Eastern Bloc countries.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Bill, you know, my last question is this. Was that your greatest memory in 1959 of this place, that sound, or do you have a great memory? I mean, this place is going to unfortunately be torn down very soon, which always makes me sad because I love these arenas.
Yeah.
What comes to your mind when you think of this place?
John, you don't have enough time for me to talk about all my great memories, but there are 2 that I want to mention. And that is the 1984 Olympic boxing was here. I was here every day for boxing. I saw Henry Tillman win his gold medal. He's here tonight. I saw Paulie Gonzalez from East LA win his Olympic gold medal. He's here tonight. 9 Americans won gold medals. And probably the best fighter on the team, Evander Holyfield, won a bronze. Why? Because he was disqualified because he knocked out his opponent like a half a second after the bell rang, and they disqualified him and he got a bronze. So I'm going to remember the Olympics here, and I'm also going to remember another thing that I was here for, non-boxing, but you may remember this, John. The 1960 Democratic Convention was held in the sports arena.
Yes.
And I was here, sitting up in the Lodge when John Fitzgerald Kennedy was nominated, and I was here sitting up in the Lodge the next night when Lyndon Baines Johnson was nominated. So I guess that's pretty historic.
My God, this is a historic place. Okay, Bill, that's great. Thank you so much. This is John Raspanti for Max Boxing and SecondsOut.com. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.